Hi, my name is Brendan Tudor. I'm an athletic trainer with Orthopedic Rehab Specialists in Jackson, and I want to welcome you guys to the middle school at Parkside.
We're at Parkside, which is a middle school, so it's combined with Jackson High, so you got a little bit of Jackson High athletes as well as contract. How does it look with the combination of Jackson High? Who do you also work with, that type of stuff?
So Michelle Peterson and I are, I kind of look at us as co-athletic trainers. I would definitely give her a nod. She's been with Jackson for a while now. She's built a lot of good relationships within the community, so I always err, to her if I got questions because I know she's going to be a great resource. Secondly, as far as the contract and stuff goes, so my kind of main priority is varsity athletics. That's kind of what it was told to me. So varsity takes precedent over middle school and stuff like that. Obviously, triaging injuries. If I have a neck injury, I'm going to manage that, before anything else. But first priorities for varsity, and then obviously middle school stuff. In the wintertime, there's not really a lot of varsity stuff here, so it's primarily middle school. And I've been splitting some time at the clinic and stuff. As far as this is a very interesting site, I think, because I'm spread out a little bit, which isn't a bad thing. But I cover gymnastics at Hunt Elementary, which is again still Jackson Public Schools. I have gone up to the high school before, so not only do I need to know this venue, I need to kind of be familiar with the high school. So you kind of got to be on your toes if you're at this spot because you're going to be moving around a little bit. But again, the nice part is that your home base is pretty straightforward, and I think the facilities here are pretty good.
So how many locations do you actually have? How far away are they?
The high school, I want to say, I don't know like actual mileage. It usually takes me about 10 minutes to get over there safely. Hunt's the same way. It's right over by Home Depot. If you guys are familiar with where that's at, again, probably about 10-15 minutes if you're driving carefully. And that's really about it. I don't.
Across the street is
there's soccer is across the street, so Justin Mehall Memorial Field. It's a 5-minute walk. I have a golf cart, so I can take that over there. And then softball and baseball, which I haven't been to, are right over there. But it's just you walk out the door, you can see it.
Then walk.
So yeah, it's not something far. You'll have a gate or two, or a golf cart.
So Hunt and high school are the only two that you have to travel to via car.
Correct.
Cool.
I think one of the biggest things that I learned, my first kind of go at Parkside was that the language that you use with these guys is really, really important. And what I mean by that is, if you tell a kid that he's going to miss practice, I've had that look like they're dying and it's the worst thing you could say, where I've said that to college athletes or high school athletes and it's kind of the opposite, and they're almost relieved because they're playing through pain and having issues. These kids do not want to give up their sports. So I think it's really important that you address them and kind of assure them, hey, this is just for tomorrow, today. You're not going to practice. We're going to reevaluate you tomorrow. I don't predict the future. I listen to what your body tells me, kind of explaining that situation as best you can and kind of letting them know that, hey, this isn't forever. I think it's really important because it was one thing, I didn't think it would be a problem. I was telling this stuff to these kids. They were even devastated and I wasn't realizing it. So it's really important to kind of keep their mindset in mind, and because they're a lot younger and they look at things differently.
Great stuff.
Right here, we have the entry door. There is a sign outside of that says trainer, so it's easily visible from the parking lot. Not a huge fan of the word trainer. We are athletic trainers, but oh well. Coming down here, I got the big gym here, so you got a good view of anything that's going on. There's middle school basketball events here. There'll be wrestling events here at times. We had a bridal shower a couple weekends ago, so a very, very versatile space. Look across the way here. This would be the middle school football, basketball, kind of primary locker room. Wrestling is in this right now. Come on in. We also at Jackson Public Schools have light keys. So that's going to look like that. And it's going to go in the switch here, and you just slide it up. You got lights. So this is one of the primary locker rooms. Oftentimes I got to go find kids to yell at them when they're showing up for treatment. So I come in here, shout a name out, and then usually they come running with all kinds of reasons why they didn't show up. So, pretty big space. There's some showers back there, bathrooms, and then there's actually another door. You can see in there, that's the coach's office. Talk to them about kids that are in treatment, their clearance level, like what's going to happen going forward. So That door's there. There's also doors on each side of this.
What would you do if you had a female athletic trainer and they were
Probably-
looking for people?
Probably have to get the coaches, knock on the door and have the coach go find the kid. It's kind of, I guess, when we have female sports, that is what I do. I go get the coach, or have Laura, our athletic director, is a female, so you can get her involved as well. And again, circling back, baseball does some extracurricular stuff in here, but they won't be down here. But that's what that is.
It's varsity baseball?
Yep, varsity baseball's been down here pitching. This is the opposite door. Again, there's another one to the coach's office, so they have a lot of ways to get in and out. And then this will bring us to the front door. They usually try to keep these doors locked as well for the kids, so she asked me not to let them in unless the coach is here. So usually these doors are locked, and then I'm going to shut the light off. And then now for the big reveal, the athletic training room. Here it is. I have sign up, of course, taped up with some athletic tape, because this wouldn't be athletic training without it. I have a very nice space. The folks at Jackson really put some time and effort into cleaning this room up. Brand new ice machine. Got some good treatment tables, good taping tables. That door goes into another classroom. I do have to be kind of quiet in here at times because you can hear pretty well into that other room. So if they have a class going on, which they do sometimes, health class, I got to make sure I'm not being too loud or listening to music loud or anything like that. But then after school, it's fine usually. Driver's training has been in there a few times in the fall, and they do some stuff. So that is something that you need to be aware of. They usually leave that entry door unlocked so driver's training can get in, and I've had kids wander in and stuff. Hey, is this driver's ed? Nope. So something that you might run into if you're here. Ton of storage. I mean, I have a ton of it. I'm very blessed. Each of these is a little different. I got the food one locked up. I don't want the kids stealing stuff, but Jackson again has been really good about getting the kids fuel bars. I make Gatorade sometimes. So if I got a kid who I think needs some glucose, I make sure they get what they need.
That's all free to athletes, or how does that work?
It's kind of at my discretion. I try to get it to athletes. I had talked with Christy Dillon, who does one of the after-school food programs, about getting me a list of kids who might be a little bit more in need of food, because those are the kids I definitely want that stuff going to. But for the most part, I mean, I'm pretty good about giving it to kids. That stuff does have expiration dates, so sometimes I do need to get rid of some of it before it expires. But it's kind of up to your discretion. I always try again to get it to the kids that I really feel like may not get another meal at home, or if they hadn't eaten for hours, I try to make sure that they got what they need. I keep all of my medical supplies in this one back here. So I got Betadine, my kit, my AED, my emergency bag, a bunch of tape stock, gloves. I mean, it's organized, but it's not organized, if that makes sense. Like, I know where everything's at. You might have a little trouble in the beginning if you're not kind of familiar with stuff, but pretty much for the most part, all of my actual medical stock is here. This AED, they're talking about ordering more, and I know that the health center, the family health center across campus has one, but to my knowledge, this is the only one in here right now. They're working on, I actually got them a quote from Myotech for new ones. I'm not sure where that's at, but just so you know, that's the only one that's in here. I got my own little, what's this one? I got crutches in here, I think. So again, this will kind of be another, I guess I lied a little bit. There's some medical supplies in here, but nothing, heel and waist pads, ace wraps, try to kind of my myofascial decompression kit, because I'm so smart. That's that. And then this is my, oh God, the weather just changed, and I keep some stuff in there. Pillow and blankets when I was doing some clinical stuff, having to come in real early. I live an hour away, so don't think I'm sleeping on the job. And then my energy drink habit, don't worry about that. Got some light plast up there, and then a basketball, because I like to use that for rehab and stuff. So that'll be in there. And then lastly, there's no handle on this, and I don't have a key, but I got some cleaning supplies in there. So there's a Swiffer, a broom. I just keep odds and ends plastic bags in case a kid's got something, needs a bag. There's a scrubby in there. Again, I don't do a lot of that now. That was more in the beginning. The room was pretty dirty and I wanted it clean. And then I got some sanding cloths and an anywhere spray up there. But I also keep that stuff right over here, which is kind of a mess right now. But I got the Santa Claus over there, 2 things of spray. And then these I brought from my house, and I washed these on my own, so that's definitely one thing you'll have to consider. I didn't get towels from anybody, so I bring these home and I wash them on my own personal washing machine. But it's really nice to have stuff like that and not have to use paper towel, whatever, what have you. So now we go to the back. This room is potentially going to change quite a bit because the office will move. But I got a sink here, which is where I fill all of my coolers for events, practices, whatever. I like to keep the holes over this thing because if it doesn't, I mean, I'm pretty sure it's an OSHA violation if that's on the floor. So you got to keep it up. So I like to wrap it right around the soap thing. And then if I need to wash my hands, I don't even need to move it really. It's already going to the sink. I kind of versus trying to wrestle this thing. I don't know. It's just kind of a mess. And then you got to be careful as well. This little guy here likes to get loose when you swing this thing around. So sometimes you got to make sure that's tight because I have turned this on before and basically was at the water park. So that was not very fun. Again, stole a table, put some stuff, put a nice tablecloth on it, and this is where I kind of keep all my water bottles. I really like my system. I keep the wet ones on the floor so they drain there, and then I kind of recycle them all. I do wash all my tops all the time. You put them in that bucket with dish soap, and then I'll make sure I do spray the sink with Clorox before I put them in there. But then I dump all those in the sink, rinse them out, put them up to dry. And then every once in a while, I'll go through with the Santa Claus and wipe out the outside of these bottles because these kids, especially being young, put their mouths and hands all over them, so you got to make sure they're kind of clean. If you come around here more, this is what's going to change quite a bit. So they're talking about putting a wall here, making this an office, and then knocking these things out. These are little razors for lockers. Those will be gone, and then I don't know what I'm going to do with the coolers yet. I was thinking about possibly asking them for some shelving up here, and or if the tile in that shower, which I'll take you into right now, can be taken down and maybe some racks could be put up here. This would also be a good spot for some storage. I'll get out of the way so you can get some footage there.
Yeah, so that office would be your office?
Yep, so it'll be my office. I'm kind of on the fence about it. I'll show you where the desk is now because I don't know if we really talked about that at all. But I like where the desk is at because I can see kids doing rehab. If I was back here, I'm not going to have visuals on my rehab space, which again is pretty important, especially at the middle school level because a lot of these guys really aren't moving well and they don't know what they're doing. So it's important to keep an eye on that. And then my throne room right here, the pride and joy, my own personal bathroom, awesome. Couldn't be happier about it. You can. I'm very cautious about letting athletes use it for one because it's just kind of a weird thing for, if there's like a female back here, there's not really like a designated space. I try to approach everything as a medical professional. I'm not going to get super weird and creepy about it, but I'm really careful about who I let come back here, just again for those safety reasons, make sure there's other people in here so they know what's going on, but it is an option. You got somebody getting ready to puke or something, or dire bathroom emergency, you got it right here if you need it. And then lastly, I'll show you my little space. Probably talk about this too. This thing drove me crazy for about 2 months because it was the squeakiest ear-piercing cart ever, but it was what I had. I greased the wheels up. She's like brand new. I mean, don't mind the patina, but I usually throw my water on here. I keep a little box of goodies in case I get a bloody nose or something. I don't have anything on me. I got some materials to handle that, and that will get rolled out for basketball practice. And I can't really imagine using that in the fall or the spring because there's nothing really going on indoors, but wintertime, this baby here, a little reliable.
So for like a water setup, do you do water setup for all practices, all events, or just kind of as they ask?
Yes and no. So right now, I do water Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday. Monday I have class, so I'm not here very late, so I don't put water out to take care of it. And then Friday or Thursdays I have gymnastics meets, so I leave at 4:15, so I don't put water out for that either. I already talked about it with all the coaches. They're just thrilled to have me here. They don't really care. They were using water fountains and stuff before, so they're very cool about it. And then Laura, who I've tried to wrestle away the game duties, I don't do water on game day because she does that. And I told her I'm more than happy to do it. There's no problems there. But she said, no, I want you to do that stuff. Don't worry about it. I'll take care of it. So she comes in, gets ice, and fills up 2 5-gallons and gives them cups and stuff. So for the basketball games, I don't need to do any of that. Middle school football, I don't do any water either because they have the little water caddy and they have the hose pick, so they get that going. I don't need to do anything for football either. Unless I'm going to make Gatorade, which I do that sometimes. I didn't have the cart at the time, but if I do that next season, I usually have the Gatorade right outside the door, and I put some cups there. If it's a real hot day and I feel like they need it, I'll do that occasionally. Or if I'm feeling nice and they ask me for it, I do that sometimes too. Big thing that happens without a drain in the ice machine, I've talked to those guys about it, this floor can get kind of wet. Partially why the fan's there, it's hot in here too. But that helps dry the floor out, and you just got to be careful. If you're scooping ice and you're getting a bunch of spillage, you got to make sure that you're not leaving it there, because I've slid on this floor pretty good. It gets pretty slick. Ice machine's brand new, works like a dream. So that's nice. And then over here, I don't have stools or anything. I use these. I have one chair that I usually put there, and the other one is right back there in the closet. I use these again to, if I'm looking at an ankle or something, this is kind of what I use. And then I got this here. Something needs to happen with that, but since the office is moving, I've tried to tape it and just keep it down. I don't let kids go back there because I don't want them to trip on this cordage. I haven't tripped yet, so let's keep our fingers crossed that I don't. And then back here, kind of a mess. I like to think of it as organized chaos. I do have most of my concussion stuff in here, and it's all labeled. So I got SCAT 5s, concussion return to play, the return to learn, referral notes, kind of some of the more important stuff that I might need to go through. And then I just keep random stuff, again, not patient medical information. I don't have a printer. If I need to print documents, I go to Laura's office, which I'll take you to in a second, which is across the gym. And she'll print fax, whatever I need. It's a pretty heavy-duty machine. So, custodial, they do not have a key to my door. The key to my door is actually an E key, which not a lot of people have, and the purpose of that was so people wouldn't come in and just help themselves to medical supplies. Laura has a key, and Michelle has a key, and I think Jack has a key, so there's 4. Custodial does not, as of now, so if I want my room cleaned, I gotta lock the door, because it locks from both sides, and leave it open. They'll come in, clean, do what they gotta do, and then they'll shut it the next day. So that's kind of a little weird, and I get kind of hesitant when AYBT or youth basketball's going on I don't cover. I really don't like leaving my door open, because I just never know what's gonna happen when I walk in the next day and my stuff's torn apart. And it hasn't happened yet, but again, I just always get a little weary.
Is Jack the principal, or?
Jack is the athletic director of the high school, and Laura, I'm not sure if she's technically the assistant athletic director or the head athletic director for the middle school, but I interact with Laura most of the time, and again, she lives right over there. Awesome lady. I encourage you guys to talk to her, say hi. She's awesome. And not to say Jack's not cool too, but I just don't interact with him as much. But those are the 2 people I come in contact with the most, and then I do interact with the gym teachers, because obviously while I'm here before school's out, gym's going on, so I gotten to know them pretty well. Very, very helpful staff. I was telling Nick earlier that if I wanted to pull a kid for rehab while he's in gym, I probably could. I haven't yet, but I think they'd be very open to that. So it's a pretty good situation in terms of kind of making time to get one-on-one time with some of the kids. Now I'll take you over to Laura's office and through the gym, which is going to be very loud. Should we go to the weight room first?
Whatever you want, man.
Let's do the weight room first, because that's closer. So we're switching up on you. We like to be versatile. When we go to the weight room, it's not a very equipped weight room, but for teaching fundamental movement patterns, getting like a bigger space, I love it. I love having it so close. That key to get in that door is going to be the GRN, and it's really easy because the lock is actually colored green, so it's really easy to remember. Come in here, and again, I got a bike, so if I got somebody I don't want running, I got a bike I can use. I haven't used that row machine. I've tried. It's kind of weird. I haven't figured it out yet. But we got a lat pull down, and then again the bread and butter here, the squat rack. Haven't had a lot of time to get kids in here one-on-one for stuff, but if I need to, I know I got a bar, I got a bench, with some dumbbells, like I got some stuff that we can use. So really, really nice to have that in here. I got some med balls as well, steps. I've stolen I don't want to say stolen, I've repurposed and moved a few things out of here. Some of the steps for step ups. The mats, I took one of the mats so we could foam roll on it, but obviously the kids are still getting use out of it, and Mr. Anderson doesn't care, so it's been kind of nice repurposing some rehab equipment out of here.
When do they use this? For gym classes,
They
after
really
school?
don't.
They don't really.
Gym is rarely in here, and I know they do a little after school lifting, but it's not something that's regular. That's kind of more like a winter thing, and they haven't done that in like a week or two since then. It was one of the assistant coaches was running that. So yeah, it's really not utilized very much, which is kind of a shame, but at the same time, it's a nice space for me, and it's usually available. So
It's great space.
indeed. So now I'll take you to Laura's office. I guess I'll let you in there too. This is where driver's training's at. This is again, I think it's IGM, I can't remember. GRN key. Huge classroom, but that would be, if you get in that door, that's the door that I had my white athletic training poster on. And again, you can see right through the wall. So again, you can't be super loud, and you'll definitely hear the lectures going on when they're in there. But just a good sized classroom, and that's the other half of the room. There is, I guess I will say as well, we didn't show you outside, but when there's really deep snow, I don't have like a plowed pathway, and I'm not walking in snow up to my knees and getting my shoes wet. So I have parked right in front here, and then come through these doors, which I want to say is the GRN key. I parked right out front there. Nobody had a problem with it, so that's an alternative spot if you need somewhere else to park. This is her office. I don't have a key to it. I don't think she's here. That's that.